Morning guys, Mon here. Today I want to talk about new gear upgrades and other changes I have made to the very end game of the build. But I want to mention I did also finish the written guide of the character, which I will post down into the video description. So if you want to have a written version with a lot of different setups and everything, your discussion about every slot, different options for everything, and a lot of more precise information of why I'm using what, you can take a look there. And if you have anything you want to change there, or if you feel like there's something missing, feel free to let me know and I will look into it. For now, we will do a Chayula because I wanted to say I have not done one yet. This is pure Chayula here. But I did just do one and want to record, but I forgot to put on Maven, so yeah. So here we are. This is not flawless. I'm actually not sure if we are fast enough for flawless on this character, but pure has been very much a breeze with over 1 minute left on the timer. So there's not much to see here overall. But we want to do it feared after, because I have not done that as well yet, and then we will take a look at all the gear changes I have made. As you can see, probably we do have 2 cooldown uses now, which comes from using the second wind support, which I am testing right now, which has its upsides and downsides. We will discuss more precisely later on. Other than that, I have changed my helmet, changed my rings, have changed my gloves, have changed my flask setup to a Progenesis. We did put another about 200 divines into the build, but you do not need the amount of currency to replicate the good version. Because the more I test and change and put currency into the build, the more I see ideas or ways to optimize a lower budget version, which means the more I invest, the less you do have to. Which is a good thing, I do think. So I think the biggest change I made recently is swapping away from the Viridi's Veil helmet, which is an extremely good helmet, but I did want to do... Not be so loud, please. But I did want to do some changes, and for that was required to get rid of the helmet. But why that is, we will take a look after the feed. Can you not hear this? Why are you so fucking fast? Yeah, this has been the last boss I needed for the field, and quickly roll one out here. Retaliation the field. We're getting a good one here. 31 mods. One of the biggest issues I currently do have with the build is that there's a lot of mods I just don't want to run, but this one does look pretty good for all. But over there's a lot of things that I just don't enjoy running on the build. Stuff like less recovery, enemy steal charges, no rack, and stuff like that. There's just a lot of small annoyances. Generally, I don't think it is a good idea to run this. Oh, was a lot of damage. We should probably use the ring here. Haven't thought about it, but we have to use it.
Mortal flesh is so valuable. A note of my might.
I do think this shows the biggest problem. Oh, there's... okay, okay, okay. We actually will have to... This is going to be very annoying here. I think I do have to catch some skills here for this to work out.
Life is so brutal.
Okay, this is a lot more intense than I hoped it would be, so I do have to concentrate for a second here. Okay, we actually got both down, which is nice. Okay, now actually Chayula hitting us might be a very good thing here.
A note of my might.
Okay, Chayula being dead might not be as good. We have Elder here.
Life is so
Okay, the start was a lot more annoying than the finish, it seems.
a note of my might.
Both Shaper and Atsiri. I mean, Atsiri hits a lot, but I was not sure about it. Okay, we've got it. Was a very, very sketchy start, but it worked out in the end.
I'm not unwelcome. How long will I be kept
Very strange. But yeah, this very much showcases some of the problems of the build, like enemies that don't attack, which are very annoying. Okay. But we've done it. Actually pretty hard rolled. The gain life as extra energy shield is a very, very, very dangerous mod on this if you don't have constant damage. Also, physical as extra chaos can hurt quite a bit. We did use up one omen of Retribution, which we need to put one into the inventory. But let's take a look at what I have changed. So, with getting rid of the Viridius Veil, we had to fix two problems. First of all, I want crit immunity, because crit immunity is very, very important when running Ultimatum, because you need constant, like very, very reliable defense in Ultimatum to not die to something random. And the damage hitting you is unlucky also is a very big problem, or a very, very, very big or very good defense modifier, especially again in Ultimatum against lightning damage. That's why I was running Viridius Veil for so long, because just a very, very strong hand. But we can fix one of these two issues with getting critical damage reduction from elsewhere, and the other one by getting a bigger hit pool in general. So where are we getting our crit immunity from? From the body armor. The essence mod of the horror essence, which we apply with using the fossils, with more crit rating, more having a corrupted essence modifier, and more physical to get the reduced damaging from crits base plus the physical reduction base. And then we just use stuff like this. Then we use suffixes cannot be changed, reforge chaos to gain the chaos rest. I did hit chaos resistance tier 2 3 times in a row, so I was like, okay, I don't have any bases left, we stick with this. Then you go with suffix cannot be changed, veiled orb, and unveil either spell block or life, both work. Actually, spell block might be better here if you don't have spell block on your shield, which I still do not have. But if you do have spell block on your shield and on your body in one or the other version, you can drop this cluster of spell block, which just frees up a lot of points, and it's a very, very good cluster to drop if you are able to. Well, that sums up the body armor pretty much. The rest has not changed there. Then we've got a new belt with a lot of resistances. Chaos resistance during Flask effect, very strong. But the bigger pieces is the ring, because I don't need to run a magic ring anymore. We did recraft the endurance charge ring with life fossils for regeneration and damage taken recoup, and then suffixes cannot be changed, reforged caster for the cast speed, then exalted slams or reforged life until you hit tier 1 life, suffixes cannot be changed, veiled orb for mana and life regeneration, or mana and reduced cost of skills. Very, very strong ring, though very expensive to craft. I would count this in the current market at about 200 divines to craft this ring, due to the base being extremely expensive by now. I have gotten the base for 20 divines very early in the league, but you will need to pay over 100 for it by now. So I would advise to just go with a Vermilion ring, which is not as good, but comes very close. Another piece I have upgraded are my gloves. These don't really have anything special, but are just very, very well-rolled gloves. Then the interaction I have changed the most is Second Wind versus Expert Retaliation. Second Wind allows to have a second charge, which is very, very nice while clearing. You can just run around and spam your Retaliation pretty much all the time. But against bosses, it can feel like you have way longer cooldown, and sometimes you burst out, the boss survives, and you have 3 seconds cooldown, which can feel bad. So both of these versions have their place, and there's nothing wrong in just having your Expert Retaliation around to swap it in when you need it, especially on like cooldown recovery maps that put your cooldown to 10 seconds without Expert Retaliation. I would always use this. Then we have obviously changed the helmet to a Devouring Diadem, which now makes reserving a lot easier, because socketed gems have increased reservation efficiency, quite a bit of that, and +1 to socketed gems, so we lose 1 level of Enlighten by not using Radius Veil, so Enlighten is a little worse, but the rest of the setup is cheaper, so it doesn't cancel out. Devouring Diadem is just way stronger in reserving auras. So I went for full reservation on my mana. I have 2 mana left, and added in Arctic Armor and Flesh and Stone for more defense. These just are very, very helpful in getting rid of big hits on us. Very, very good defensive auras. And aside from that, the setup did not see a lot of changes in that department. But what I did change is I changed my Impossible Escape. I was using Chaos Inoculation for a while to get Aura Nodes here and Whispers of Doom here. I did change that because I didn't like the Dual Curse setup, because I wasn't really using the ring all that much, as you did just see in the encounter. So I changed this for Glancing Blows. It allows us to get these life and reduced cost nodes combined with Sanctuary for very easy access. Sanctuary gives us +1 all elemental resistances, which is very nice. And my shield, due to having reduced reservation efficiency, allows us to use the +1 resistance node here as well, instead of life reservation efficiency of skills. Very, very good setup. But though, due to the high energy pool by now, I don't really need the reduced cost, so I might change this setup in the future again, but that is up for another day. For now, I will stick with the setup. I very much like it. It's good. As I said, I added a Progenesis. Not that much to say about that. I added a Sulfur Flask for Consecrated Ground. I was using the Replica Divine Sorrow for quite a bit now, which was nice, but lacked uptime during bosses. So the main factor of why I did change the entire setup was to get a very consistent mana pool, and I felt like Devouring Diadem was the only really good way of getting Eldritch Battery without investing too much into random slots. So this has been pretty much all the changes I have made, I do think. Yeah, my resistances are way more size now, with only 3 above the cap. You would usually want a bit higher to run like elemental weakness and stuff like that, but I do usually just spec for the reduced effect of curses, and then the consecrated ground is decreased. So yeah, it works out more or less. I do like it so far. So this is everything I want to talk about today. Again, I have finished the written guide and I will keep it updated if I do change things or change my opinion on setups and stuff like that. So feel free to drop in there and also reply if anything you feel like is missing. So I want to say thanks for watching and see you on the next one.